What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode on the Dynamic Lifestyle Podcast, solo round time. So got Chris over here on my left side. And you know what's funny is we're actually at my mom's house right now. And luckily she has a big place enough to where we made this work. And Chris forgot his camera gear, but we still wanted to make the video component happen. So he signed into my personal Zoom account. I'm downstairs, he's upstairs, and we're making it happen, right?
Absolutely, man. Getting creative.
Yeah. So, all right, Chris. So I know we have a good conversation that we're going to be talking about today about proximity, hiring mentors, and masterminds. But any cool announcements that you want to just talk about to the listeners or share?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've been kind of like holding this back a little bit. I think it's time to kind of like let people know like what's going on, what's going forward. So guys like us, we're super humble guys. We don't put ourselves on a soapbox or a pedestal. We're not the type of guys where we think we're celebrities by any means at all. So for us though, I definitely do respect you guys, for listening to our podcast and being a part of our community and the support. I truly do. So I want to kind of bring you guys along the journey, but we are announcing that we are actually moving to Dallas, Texas, at the end of the month, and we're excited. We're Cali boys at heart, born and raised here, very blessed to be able to live in Northern California and Southern California now for like 7 years. But it's time to make a change with all this craziness going on and madness going on, so we did a lot of our research, talked to a lot of mentors on this decision, but it's the best decision for us, our family, like just our business, everything kind of going forward, so I kind of want to just bring you guys along the journey with that, when we go to Dallas and just kind of fill you in on the announcement.
Yeah. Shout out to Texas, all of our future Texans out there. But no, change is always good too. And
something I'm excited about. I'm nervous, I'm scared, but it'll be fine. That's where all the growth happens, and when you put yourself in uncomfortable positions. But I kind of want to leave it at that. I don't want to talk too in depth about this. That's not what this podcast episode's about. So we'll do another, solo round together once we're there, settled in a few weeks, and go really deep into why we made this decision, kind of how we weighed the pros and cons, and just our plans going forward. So I think it'll make for a good discussion going forward. So really quick before we kick this off, if anyone, if you're listening and you're from Texas, please, give us some love. Whether you're in Austin, Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, we're looking to connect with good people. And I know if you're listening to this podcast, you're an amazing person. So, please reach out to us via Instagram, our text platform, email, and, just tell us some good stuff to look out for and what to do out in Texas. But other than that, we're excited. So let's kick this off, Chris. So we're talking about proximity, hiring mentors, and masterminds. So why do you want to talk about this today? Why this subject?
Well, I mean, there's basically three parts to the reason why we want to talk about like proximity, hiring mentors, and masterminds, right? And those three C's, we actually got this from Alex Formosa. He got inspired by this with his episode. But within this whole context of this, there's three C's, which is basically conviction, it's community, and it's having clarity, right? And that's the power of kind of like what we want to talk about with like, having proximity, doing masterminds, and I'm hiring mentors, right? For those three C's, like clarity, community, and conviction. So I want to dig into this because I think it's super powerful, to be able to have that proximity. Proximity is power when you really think about it. And kind of to break this down to start it off, like we wanted proximity basically living in Los Angeles, right? So that's why we moved there. That's why we're there for 7 years pretty much, because we wanted a proximity to a lot of these like big time players like in the entrepreneurship field, right? So that's why we moved there, to be close to them. And that's like one of our goals with this podcast was to be in proximity, to be able to interview people in person. We didn't want to do Zoom like podcast interviews, right? We want to do them in person. And we knew if we were in Los Angeles, we would have proximity to all these people and invite them over to the co-working office and basically interview them in person, build a relationship, build our network, all that type of stuff. Obviously, with the pandemic now, we have to kind of shift and do things through Zoom now. But that's one example of like how proximity is power when you're close to people like that. So do you want to dig into maybe like the mastermind stuff, maybe the coaches and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, definitely. No, I like your point about like the reasoning why we moved to Los Angeles, and that was a big reason, proximity, right? And not only that, it makes you want to, up your game and always kind of have your back against the wall every single day when you're out there, along with all those big players and people that are out there just hustling every day, chasing dreams. So for us, I think the biggest step that we made was 5 years ago, right, when we invested into Tai Lopez's $25,000 mastermind. And again, that was scary as hell. I still remember that day just on that rooftop at the Roosevelt Hotel, where it's just like they were giving us the urgency, the scarcity, where we had to sign up today. And I was freaking out because in my gut, it was telling me there was the right decision. We needed to do this to get to the next level and take our business to the next level, to new heights, and even more belief in ourselves, right? Reframe our mindsets to be CEOs and, badass entrepreneurs, and then teach, fit pros later down the road how to do this and break down false and self-limiting belief barriers. So I remember that, we had to pull out a credit line and ask for a bunch of help, and we made it happen. And the best thing was that, again, we got that proximity and that access to Tai Lopez, all of his, people that he was around, all these other A players in different businesses that were just from everywhere, all around the world, right? They were millionaires, billionaires, they were just crushing it, every type of thing you can think of, to where it's just like, when you're around people like that, that energy is going to rub off you, because you know that A, I made a $25,000 investment, and B, I better execute this, and I have no reason to, because there's so many other people right there uplifting me and for support. So that was one of the big things that, just having that proximity and just, being around all those like-minded people, not necessarily like going there and expecting a blueprint for success. It was more about learning, what can I take away from this? How do I reframe my mind to be, more successful, to be a true entrepreneur, to break down those self-limiting beliefs and take action every single day and see the bigger vision. So the proximity was amazing. Like I said, just access to all the people he brought in, the connections that we made, all the great friendships we made there. And then after that, we went on to join Cole Hatter's mastermind. It was a $20,000 mastermind after that, to build our network more, learn from more people. After that, we went to do a coaching day with Mark Lack, learn about personal branding, marketing, advertising, to where it's like we wanted to continue building these skill sets, and we wanted the proximity to his network and everybody, that he knew, and just all his knowledge. So yeah, that's kind of like some examples and stories, I just wanted to start off with. And I mean, is there anything you want to add to that?
No, I mean, that's basically like what we were talking about, the three C's: the conviction, the clarity, the community, right? So the conviction is like, when you join these type of masterminds, it basically kind of like convicts that you made the right decision. Like, you're like, man, I made a right decision. Like, this was like, very hard to do this investment, but it convicts that you really did make the right decision, because you see the bigger picture and you see the payoff with this and the proximity and all the outcomes, the benefits, right? So that's why the C is very important. Then the clarity is that when you're in these type of groups, you get so much more clarity about not only yourself, but as like an entrepreneur and your business as well too, because you have so many different people, like, from different industries, and their mindsets are different. They're at different levels. So that's where the clarity comes in. And then you have the community aspect, where, I mean, that's irreplaceable, and it's kind of self-explanatory. Like I just said, you have people from all different like type of, industries, making either 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures. I mean, you have this whole community and this network of people that one day, if you need something, if I need like a copywriter, if I need somebody to run my ads, if I need somebody to build a landing page or something like that, I can hit these people up in the community, because they know who I am, that we bought skin in the game just like they did, with the same mastermind, same community, and they're going to have my back and my best interest, just like I'm going to have their back and their best interest as well too.
Or they know other people, that they could recommend to you, and they're a trustworthy resource. Otherwise, you have to kind of just go dig around and just go with your gut. And that kind of sucks sometimes. It's like, why not get like, trustworthy, referrals of people in different expertises from good people that you built a connection with over a course of a year or so. And not even, I mean, I love everything you said, man, but like, it doesn't have to be like necessarily a mastermind. Again, this is about hiring mentors and, just coaches as well too, right? Doing coaching days with people. So even for example, for us, for our coaching program, our Dynamic Fit Pros VIP coaching program, right? So yes, it's not a cheap program. It's a very, very, very valuable program though. And because there's so many outcomes from it that a Fit Pro can get that they cannot get from just YouTube or just researching something on Instagram, right? So that's why too, it's like, you're getting access to the proximity of just us, our network, all of our resources, all of our knowledge over the last 10 years. And when people understand that it's like you're buying speed, right? That's what you're doing. You're buying information. That's the return of investment. And I think it's such a key component when you're doing, masterminds, coaching days, your hired mentors, is that you have to look at the return of investment as you're buying information, which will lead to speed in your business. And good luck filtering and sorting through like all the articles, all the videos, all the podcasts, and really taking action. Again, the biggest way you would take action is when you have someone holding you accountable, an extra pair of eyes, someone that you can check in with, someone that you spent the money to invest in. And if you don't sit there and take action and produce results, it's like it's on you. So that's why I'm saying, like, if more people just understood the return of investment of just buying knowledge, and that will equal more speed, and not just worrying so much about, man, I got to make my money back in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, because you probably will, if you really just understood, you're buying speed, proximity, and you're going to take more action.
Yeah, that's a great point. And then like another point I was going to make, like, is our podcast here. Like, we're 250 episodes pretty much close in, right? And we would not have been able to get these guests on that we've had on, some of these big like type of like A player type of guests on here, if we were not a part of masterminds. You know what I mean? So you can't just sit there and cold outreach, like DM people, like, and be like, hey, do you want to be on my podcast? Or you got to know somebody. It's proximity. It's skin in the game, right? So it's like, it comes back to, again, your network is your network, right? And again, it's like, you have to basically just have some sort of skin in the game. I don't know how else to really put it, make it clear, but it's like what you said earlier, that like within our VIP program, right? When the students are in our program, they're buying proximity because every single month they get access to a live expert training, right? So for example, we've had Brett Contreras on there. We've had Paul Revelia on there. We're going to have Eric Helms on there. We had Chris Hitchko teaching programming on there for both in-person and online. So here's the thing. It's like, we can bring these people on our podcast, but they can't sit there and do a live expert training on the podcast. This has to be more like conversational stuff. They'll definitely drop value and gold, but it's a whole nother level to ask them, like, hey, can you do like an actual live expert training, take Q&A from like our students, right? And the only way that can be done is because we've built a relationship with them. They're in our network. So our students thus get the Rolodex and the skin in the game with them as well too, with those live expert trainings.
Yeah, absolutely. No, good point. And what you're really doing is like, when you're buying into mentorship, masterminds, coaching days, the proximity, what you're really doing is buying your way to the next level. You really, really are. And it's like, why would you not want to get to the next level? That should be a goal, just whether it's personally, mentally, physically, emotionally. It's like, you're always everything's like a game. It's like, why would you not want to try to level up every single year, to better yourself and play bigger? So at some point, you're going to have to sit there and buy your way into the next level. Everyone thinks that it's just going to come, but it's not. I mean, you might get lucky. Some people get lucky, and that's amazing. Like, cool for them. Like, I tip my hat to those people. But for most of us, you're going to have, like you said, put skin in the game and buy your way into the next level and work your ass off. And it's going to take a long time, and it's going to be awesome. It's got to buy into the journey. So that's what I like about that. And another thing too to think about when you think about this is that, you got to think about paying for it before you can afford it, which will lead to you being able to afford it later, right? That might not make sense, like when you first hear that, but it's like, if you pay for it before you can afford it, meaning you might not have the money to do it now, you might have to take out a loan, you might have to put on a credit card, you might have to live very frugally for a month. So that payoff will make you afford it going forward, to where it's like, again, you can buy your way into more proximity, more mentorships, more coaching programs to better yourself, to possibly teach to, your students, whatever it is that you do as a, consultant, service-based business. And if people just understood that, just like, you're always going to have to be learning and being a student and hiring coaches to oversee what you're doing. So at some point you have to take that leap and invest in the first one.
Yeah, and kind of add to what you just said about buying it before you can afford it. It's kind of like what Jen Sincero said in her book, You Are Badass at Making Money, is when you put yourself in that uncomfortable position, you have your back against the wall, right?
Yeah.
It's super uncomfortable. Just like us when we were joining Tai Lopez's mastermind, super uncomfortable. We didn't know if we were going to make it back, right? But we put ourselves out there. We had our back against the wall. It was a gut feeling that we knew this was the right decision. We put it out to the universe that, hey, we want to get to the next level as entrepreneurs. We want to serve our clients and our community at the highest level. So we put it out there. And for some reason, with our hard work and Ty's program and the universe kind of like repaying us back, that's how it kind of worked out, you know? So it's like, yeah, sometimes you're not going to be able to afford it, but you will find a way to afford it. And if you have your back against the wall, I promise you, you will work that much more harder to not let only yourself down, but the person too, whether they're a coach or they're, you know, the head person in the mastermind.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, what are a couple action steps that you would recommend to the listeners if they're like, okay, Eric, Chris, like this is great. Like you sold me on the whole proximity thing, why it's important, why buying speed, knowledge will lead to taking more action. You know, why like hiring coaches and, you know, masterminds is definitely probably something I should look into. Like, what are some action steps?
Yeah, so I would say it's, I like this whole little growth mindset stacking hack that I have, and it's starting off with basically consuming either like videos on YouTube or even like reading books or audiobooks. And I count reading books and audiobooks as almost free because they're like under $10. And to me, that's just like, it's almost free in my opinion. Okay. So you start off with those very low barrier to entry types of things, reading, consuming, you know, podcasts or audiobooks, YouTube videos that are around personal development or around the areas that you need help with. After that, you level up to the next game of either doing like some sort of seminar or live event, 1 or 2 day seminar live event. Then you level up to like maybe buying like a course or like a program, right? Then you level up to like a mastermind or hiring like a coach or something like that. So I like that kind of like growth stacking type of like hack right there because it's very like quantifiable. And you can start off at the very bottom, you can start at the middle, you can start at the top. It's not like this ascending word you have to go in. But it's a nice little hack that you can do with like growth mindset stacking and trying to get to that next level in buying proximity, buying masterminds, or even like coaches.
Yeah, I like that. Growth hacking, stacking, or would you say growth stacking?
Growth mindset stacking.
Okay. I was like a butcher. I was like, I like it though. It's good though. I'll give you guys a straightforward one, and you guys might think it's too hard, but I have to keep it real here. But you just have to fucking take action and do it. Like, honestly, like if you are serious as a business owner, an entrepreneur, if you want to create more, you know, freedom, income, impact, influence in your lifestyle, you want to change, you don't like your business, you don't like the lifestyle you're living, you have to fucking just make a change and make a stand now. Like I'm tired of, you know, hearing the excuse about like the economy, the coronavirus, like all the uncertainty. We're all in the same boat here. Like, again, we're all in this together. Like I truly feel and have empathy for, you know, what you're saying. But at the end of the day, no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to save us. There's not. The election's not going to save us. Whatever it is going to next year, it's probably going to be very similar to how it is now. So I really hope and pray you've adapted your mindset and lifestyle to, you know, this current situation and circumstances. And probably it's going to go into that, you know, early next year for at least a couple quarters. So we're in Q4 right now of 2020. And at some point you have to just, you know, really make a decision. Do I want to stay complacent? Do I want to stay where I'm at? Make excuses? Have all these self-limiting beliefs, all these false beliefs, and just, again, not do shit with my life and take action because, quote unquote, I don't have money. I can't get money. I'm afraid to make this investment. I'm afraid to fail. I'm afraid to take action. I'm afraid of comparison syndrome. I have a money mindset issue, all that stuff. So I'm sorry, guys, but I have to be real. Just, you have to, at some point, you know, get yourself out there, go hire help, go hire accountability, and be in some sort of proximity that's going to make you grow in all areas of life.
Oh man, I didn't know you wanted to go to that level.
Whew, yeah. That's how I was feeling. That was what was on my mind. I'm not going to hold it back. I'm sorry.
Oh man, I held back too much then.
Yeah. I think I covered enough for us both on that. And I know you feel the same way.
No, you definitely did. Just something to add to that though too is just think about like some of these like super uber successful people that you guys look up to, right? You guys really think that they just 100% work their way into like the game or the level that they're at? Just be honest. Like, do you really think they just worked their way into the level that they're at or the game that they're playing right now? They had to pay. They had to get some skin in the game. And that's what I'm saying. You either work your way in or you buy your way in. But I'm a fan of doing both, right? So don't ever think that they just got lucky or it was an overnight success or that they just literally worked their ass off in their way in. They didn't. They paid their way in too because they're smarter than that. They know proximity. They know like hiring mentors, being in masterminds, being around smarter people than them. So just think about it for yourself. You guys have to have that mindset. Like Eric said, you're never going to get to the next level. You're never going to grow. You're never going to break those self-limiting beliefs. You're really not. So yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents, man. Take it to another level.
I like that. I like that. But I think I got you on mine.
Yeah, he did.
That's all tough love, guys. I love you guys out there. So before we hop off this episode, Chris, I want to just leave the listeners with some good closing thoughts. And these are from two other people that I really respect and admire as entrepreneurs. So I wanted to share this with them. So the first one is by Chris Harder. Good guy. We've had him on the podcast. He said in one of his podcasts, I deserve a life. You have to reframe your mindset to think, I deserve a life equal to the effort I put in. I'm going to repeat that one more time. I deserve a life equal to the effort I put in. If I give an 8 out of 10 effort and expect a 10 out of 10 life because I hang out with other people that are given a 6 out of 10 effort and I should get more out of that, that means you're still not going all in. You're not giving the maximum effort every single day to deserve that lifestyle that you truly, truly desire. So again, put the effort in every single day, and that is the life that you will sit there and acquire going forward. The last one is by Jay Shetty. He said, you become humble by constantly doing things outside your comfort zone to grow. Okay. And we talked earlier about us making a huge move to Dallas, Texas, us being Cali boys. That's a very, very uncomfortable move, but we know that's going to be a ton of growth out of that. And it's going to humble the shit out of us even more. We're already humble guys as it is. And he also said too, I love this analogy he used with the game of baseball. So for all the baseball fans out there, he said, in baseball, you only get 3 strikes and you're out. In life, you get an unlimited amount of swings and at-bats, and all you need is 1 home run. So I just want to leave you guys with that. Some stuff to ponder and think. And again, life's short, but again, mentorship, proximity, taking action, getting to the next level, challenging yourself, that's irreplaceable. We only get one shot at that. So
Yep.
That's all I got, Chris.
That was good, man. Way to end it. That fired me up. And all I can say to you guys is like, let's rise up together. Let's step it up. Let's get to the next level together. No excuses. Let's take action. Let's get it.
No excuses, only solutions. All right, guys. So thanks so much for tuning in. Much love. Hopefully you guys are staying safe, well out there. Share this out with somebody that needs to hear this or be inspired. And again, you guys always inspire us to just continue to put out content and just bring stuff to the table. So go out there, live a badass, dynamic lifestyle, and we'll talk to you next time.
Hey, thank you so much for watching this video and another episode on pro tips on living a dynamic lifestyle. We truly appreciate it. Hopefully you got a lot of value out of it. If you're interested in getting more value like this from these pro tips, make sure to subscribe above. We're going to be dropping these daily. Also, if you are a fitness professional and you're looking to create more income, impact, influence, and independence, we just dropped our new book, Rise of the Fit Pros, so you guys can do all of that. And you can also start building your hybrid training model of in-person and online training. So make sure to click the link or the book right here to grab your guys' copy, and we'll send it over to you. Other than that, we're out. Talk to you soon.